Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring a really incredible journey of someone who brought the teachings of Kriya Yoga to the West back in the early 20th century.
Wow, yeah.
We're going to be looking at a section from the book Autobiography of a Yogi, chapter 37,
Right.
which covers the author's journey to America.
Yes, it's a fascinating story. It's not like he planned this journey. It kind of all started with a vision.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
That's right. He was in a storeroom in Ranchi, India, meditating, when all of a sudden he was overwhelmed by this vision of Western faces gazing at him.
Wow.
And almost immediately after this, he received an invitation to be a delegate at a religious congress in Boston.
Oh, wow.
It's almost as if the universe itself orchestrated these events.
Yeah, and this concept that he brings up of a karmic link between India and America is really intriguing. I mean, this essentially karma, as it's understood in Eastern philosophy, is about cause and effect. Actions have consequences that shape our destiny. So to him, this vision wasn't just a coincidence. He saw it as a sign, a pull towards a destiny that was preordained, by his past actions.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful experience to have that kind of conviction, that clarity about your path, especially when it involves such a drastic life change.
Oh, absolutely.
He was being called to bring the ancient teachings of Kriya Yoga, which is a spiritual path focused on meditation and self-realization,
right,
to like a completely different culture. And at a time when travel and communication were nothing like they are today. I mean, that must have been quite daunting.
Absolutely. And, the text really highlights his apprehension. It's worth noting, for those unfamiliar with Kriya Yoga, it's lineages that emphasizes a direct relationship between a guru or a spiritual teacher and their disciple.
Okay.
And this relationship plays a crucial role in navigating the spiritual path.
So, facing this enormous undertaking, he turned to his guru, Sri Yukteswar, for guidance. And this is particularly interesting because he admits to feeling incredibly nervous about public speaking.
Oh, yeah.
And his English wasn't exactly fluent.
Yeah, that's a pretty relatable hurdle, wouldn't you say? I mean, who among us hasn't felt a little intimidated by public speaking? It's fascinating to see how, despite his anxieties, he finds the courage to step forward. And he's guided by his guru's unwavering belief in him.
Yeah, Sri Yukteswar's encouragement must have been incredibly empowering, even with those doubts, to have someone that believed in his potential, that saw his ability to share these teachings. That's such a powerful testament to the strength of their guru-disciple bond.
It is, and that bond wasn't just about spiritual guidance. It also played a role in overcoming, practical obstacles, like finances.
Oh, right.
I mean, the author, like many of us would be, was concerned about the finances involved in traveling to America.
Yeah, his initial worries about funding the trip make his father's eventual support all the more poignant. It's a really heartwarming turn in the story.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Initially, his father was opposed to the idea, but then he has a change of heart.
Right.
And he comes to recognize a divine purpose behind his son's mission. And he offers not just financial support, but a deeper understanding.
It seems like the author's internal struggle wasn't just about public speaking or even finances, but also about bridging these cultural divides.
Right.
He was about to step into a world completely foreign to his own, the West, a place with different customs, different beliefs, an entirely different way of life.
It's almost like, being an explorer, charting unknown territory. Imagine that mix of, apprehension and anticipation that he must have felt. And you can sense his yearning for reassurance, like a sign that he's on the right track. And that longing leads him to kind of immerse himself in prayer, seeking divine guidance. And it's here that the narrative takes a truly extraordinary turn with the appearance of Babaji.
Babaji. Wait, you mean the figure revered within Kriya Yoga as having transcended the limitations of time and space? What was the significance of his appearance to the author?
I mean, the appearance of Babaji is profound. It was a powerful validation of his mission. It confirmed that he was divinely chosen to bring Kriya Yoga to the West. And beyond that, Babaji's presence kind of eased the author's anxieties. He offered assurances of protection and guidance, a comforting presence amidst the author's uncertainty.
It's amazing how a moment of deep prayer and connection can lead to such a powerful shift in perspective. But even with this divine assurance, I imagine he still had to face his fear of public speaking. And it sounds like his first lecture on the ship to America was a pretty unforgettable experience. So the first lecture, born out of like sheer nervousness and maybe a touch of divine intervention, really set the stage for this incredible journey.
It did.
In America.
It's amazing.
It's almost like that initial hurdle paved the way for everything that followed.
Yeah, what really strikes me is how he adapted to this new environment. He spent 4 years in Boston, giving lectures, teaching classes. He even published a book of poems called Songs of the Soul. It's really a testament to his ability to connect with people from such diverse backgrounds, sharing this ancient wisdom in a way that resonated with their modern lives.
Yeah, and he didn't limit himself to Boston either. He embarked on this cross-country speaking tour, bringing Kriya Yoga to like major cities all across the U.S.
Wow.
I mean, he even made his way up to Alaska.
That's incredible.
Can you imagine like the logistical challenges of something like that back then?
Oh, totally.
It speaks volumes about his, dedication and this growing interest in his teachings.
And it's also really fascinating how, certain events seem to align with his earlier visions. But by 1925, he establishes a headquarters in Los Angeles, which was a location that was actually foreshadowed in a vision he had years before.
Oh, wow.
So it just kind of reinforces this recurring theme of destiny playing a role in his life.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if, following our intuition, that inner pull we sometimes feel, maybe it might lead to a similar unfolding of events in our own lives. I'm curious, did his guru, Sri Yukteswar, ever express like his thoughts on his students' success in America?
Yeah, we actually get a glimpse of their connection through this really heartwarming postcard that Sri Yukteswar sent. And he describes being overjoyed, even like melting in joy upon seeing photos of his students' activities and his students in America. So it's a really tender reminder that even across continents, their bond remains strong.
That's a beautiful testament to the power of mentorship. But amidst this success, the author also grappled with some challenges.
Right.
He wrote a poem titled God, 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 which he actually penned while standing on a lecture platform one night.
Really?
What insights does this poem kind of offer into his internal world at the time?
Well, the poem gives us this really raw and honest glimpse into his internal struggles. It expresses this unwavering devotion to the divine, a constant remembrance of his spiritual practice amidst all the demands of running spiritual centers in America. It highlights that challenge of balancing the material aspects of his work with this kind of inner peace that he was seeking.
Yeah, that tension between the material and the spiritual, I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
It's that constant balancing act
Yeah.
of trying to find that sense of inner peace while navigating the demands of daily life.
Totally.
But it's inspiring to see how the author found ways to integrate his spiritual practice into his daily life. And while there were definitely moments where he yearned for the simplicity of India, he was also deeply moved by what he was seeing happening between the East and the West. He even quotes Emma Lazarus's poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, wow.
The one that welcomes those yearning to breathe free. What do you make of that connection?
I think it's incredibly powerful. He saw America with its diverse population as this land of opportunity, a place where different cultures could come together, find common ground, while still maintaining their unique identities.
Yeah.
So it seems like his vision went beyond just teaching Kriya Yoga, He was also striving to build these bridges of understanding between different worlds.
Yeah.
It's, really his journey is a testament to the universal appeal of, certain spiritual principles. And it shows how ancient wisdom can really transcend geographical boundaries, cultural differences, and just resonate with people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
It's a nice reminder that despite our external differences, there's this shared human experience that connects us all.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see how he navigated those cultural complexities while staying true to his spiritual path.
Yeah.
It feels like there's a lot we can take away from this journey, even beyond the specifics of Kriya Yoga.
Oh, for sure.
What do you think stands out to you as like the most significant takeaways for our listener?
Well, I think his story really highlights the power of intuition, of trusting that inner pull towards a certain path, even when it seems daunting or unconventional.
Right.
He also, demonstrates the importance of seeking guidance from mentors, those who can offer support and wisdom as we navigate unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we don't have to figure everything out on our own. Having someone that believes in us, that sees our potential, can make all the difference.
It really can.
And his journey also underscores the transformative potential of bridging those cultural divides. By sharing his wisdom and experiences, he really helped create a space for understanding and connection between the East and the West.
He did.
It's a reminder that engaging with different perspectives can enrich our own lives and contribute to a more harmonious world.
Absolutely.
Thinking back to that vision of those Western faces, that kind of set him on this path. It makes you wonder about those moments in our own lives when we feel like a really strong inner calling.
It does.
Perhaps it's a creative pursuit, a career change, a yearning to explore a new place, or a way of being.
Right.
Have you ever felt that pull towards something that felt both exciting and terrifying at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what steps did you take, or maybe are taking now, to honor that inner voice?
It's a really great question. Something for all of us to think about.
Yeah, and as we wrap up this deep dive, I hope our listener feels inspired to embrace their own, unique journey, to seek guidance when needed, and to share their gifts with the world. Who knows what incredible connections and experiences await.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.